Oh no, we live? Are we offline? Is yet to be seen. I think. Oh, there's stream elements. I guess we are on. Check something real quick. We are on. Is that this native Twitch delay? Or a YouTube delay? Interesting. Anyways. Yep, back on it. I guess normally the schedule I've been advised to do is like do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then a weekday. Probably both optimally, but you know, whatever. So I started Tuesday because I didn't do Monday. I was too tired to do, and then too tired to do Sunday, and then Saturday our internet crashed. So I'm gonna do stuff right now. Unfortunately, it's still boiling heat wave, and because of the Canadian fires, the air quality is, what was it? It was 170 ppm when I checked earlier, and I'm pretty sure when I rechecked the map, the color moved, so it's worse than 200. It's something like healthy people should not be outside for extended periods of time. It's kind of curse. So what happened since yesterday? Did anything happened yesterday? Quite a bit. I suppose. I mean, okay. The soundtrack that's playing right now is the I'm trying to figure out the name of the game. The railway grinder game. Densha Attack came out today. It's like a little under 20 smackers. It's on sale, 10%. Not a great sale, but the sale. I was watching Lies Malicious play it. It's pretty fun. Like it really is like a on rails, well, literally because it's a train. Tony Hawk-esque game. You got manuals, you got grinds, you got trick multipliers. Yeah, and then it's like combined with the 3D Sonic rail run systems. It's kind of interesting. But I'll probably wait for a better sale, honestly, because the only thing I really care about is what you're listening to. The soundtrack. It's already got 170 reviews. I think it's going to be just fine. Actually, I haven't looked at the Femme Fatality. Option game tool information. You clearly have not played the game from this depth, so that looks good. I'll probably pick it up tomorrow along with Hell Maiden. I didn't realize this. But Hell Maiden comes out in 6 hours. So a little bit of an issue. So I'm probably going to be doing double duty. I want to do that probably as soon as I wake up. They also just said it won't be It won't be all 9 circles of hell, it'll just be 2 circles. The first 2 circles, 4 poets, 4 signature weapons. So very, very early access. So the price will reflect that as well. I'm fine with getting in down floor. I trust Astral Shift. Again, they made... I didn't play Pocket Mirror, but they made Little Goody Two Shoes, which is immaculate. So I'm fine with that. Actually, how long is the sale for? 29? Maybe I'll pick that up. I don't know. I save my money to Toka again for this weekend. But anyways, that's most of what's been up on my end. So let's just hop into it, starting a little bit late. I keep wanting to start at the latest 10, and I keep doing it at like 11 something. It's a bad habit I picked up. Yes, and hold on while the white screen that doesn't encompass the entire screen is there. Yes, it did. So it fixes itself on your end, not my end, as usual. Actually, can you see the edge? No, you can't. Interesting. I don't know. I'm paranoid. Wait, actually, was I supposed to... Actually, was I supposed to save in between these? Okay. Sorry, I gotta... I'm having some music. Probably won't show up in the VOD, but I'm blasting my ear. Little happening of last night.
都会は魔界だ
City really is strange.
けど慣れれば割と住みやすいとは思う
Pretty easy place to live once you get the hang of it. Sojiro sighed listlessly. Looked down at the winter school board below, lost in thought. December was written on the corner of the chalkboard. He could not believe 10 days had already passed since he transferred to the school. The last vestiges of autumn faded with the change of the month. The trees were all but barren, and the ground below them a mat of fallen leaves. For a period was classics. An elderly teacher stood at the lectern and rambled on. While he had finally gotten used to the classroom, he still had a long way to go to get up to speed in his classes. Lacking even the basic understanding most students learn in their early scholastic life, it was a battle for Sojiro to keep up. Even if he was unable to grasp all the content right away, he at least tried to memorize everything and hoped that he could make use of it down the road. Which is why losing himself in his thoughts was about the last thing he should have been doing. He would normally chastise himself for daydreaming, but... Troublingly, he was unable to concentrate in class today. Sojiro could not place the source of his lack of concentration. It could not have been the winters in the city, as much milder than in the mountains. Neither was his part-time job particularly tiring. Really, the 7 part-time jobs aren't tiring? He was not any more physically fatigued than the average student, so that could not be it either. Others might conclude that it was because the courses were boring, but that seemed off the mark too. Shoujo did not share his classmates' opinions about their classes. On the contrary, he rather enjoys class time. No, his frame of mind was not to blame either. Trying to figure out what was wrong only made him more depressed.
いけない。こんなんじゃ気が散る一方だ。
What's wrong with me? It's not like me to be so distracted. He scolded himself and turned his attention to the chalkboard. The rhythmic ticks of the chalk were sending him into a slumber, but he somehow managed to resist their lullaby. And yet he was still unable to focus on the class. Shoujo reflected silently, as was his custom, and sighed inwardly. Deep down, he knew the real source of his agitation. The events of the previous night were the only thing it could be. What happened to Sojiro on the previous night? Alice was the one who fought in the forest. I mean, Sojiro was at the church. Previous night. The bird? Oh, the bird landing on his head, maybe? Trying to signal the end of class, the teacher bowed and exited into the hallway. To see him off, 30 or so students all stood up from their desks. The clock, which had seemed to slow dramatically around 11:30, now struck noon. His face. Tension seemed to fade from the room all at once. The release from a difficult lesson. It was the start of the lunchtime highlight of school life. Misaki High's cafeteria was not particularly known for its quality of food. Complaints that the quality was below that of a private school went unheeded, and the same unique flavors appeared on the menu each and every day. Private school prices coupled with the subpar quality led the majority of students to opt for box lunches instead. Shoujo's Class C was no exception. Boys muscled as many as 10 desks into what resembled a long dining table. Conversely, the girls divided themselves into smaller tables of 2 or 3 desks with practiced ease. They started chatting within their cliques. Not a single student wasted even a second of their precious lunchtime. Whether both sides differed in method, they shared a common goal. Shoujo was struck dumb by the efficiency of the transformation. Even after 10 days, he was unable to keep pace with the rest of the class and remained seated where he had sat during the previous period.
Oi! Kochiko Shizuki!
Hey Suzuki, over here. The voice came from the large makeshift dining table near the window. Suke Kinomi was beckoning him over while leaning back in his chair, in a way that looked like he could fall backward at any second. He was regularly shot down by others in the class for being lazy and crass, but his earnest nature kept him from getting on anyone's bad side. Though something could be said for not being so forthcoming all the time, too.
飯にしようぜ、飯。
Time's a wasting, let's eat.
俺さ、昨日店の残り物もらいすぎたんだよ。春巻きだよ、春巻き。それを見た親父がさ、もらったもんは残すなってうるさくてさ。食いもん、春巻きしかねえんだわ。
I got a bunch of leftover spring rolls from yesterday, but when my dad saw them, he told me I shouldn't waste them, so that's the only thing I've got. Only spring rolls? I mean, it's kind of well-rounded. Seeing his end game was to find someone who might take pity on him and trade him for something better. Ah. Two of them worked at the same restaurant, so he's one of the few people Sojiro knew before starting school. It's also the reason Sojiro was able to learn the true meaning of the phrase "can't live without him." Can't live with him. Can't live without him.
お、いいな。しずきも来いよ。今日は待ちに待った缶詰祭りをすっからさ。
Yeah, Suzuki, get your butt over here. The long-awaited canned food festival today.
ついに
Excuse me?
結婚するのかよ。誰か冷静になった方がいいんじゃないのか？実際。
So we're really going through with this. We're actually sure we want to do this.
バカ、すげえ楽しいってきっと。そりゃパチモン臭いけど、カニ缶とか食い放題なんだぜ。サバ缶じゃなくて。
Bet your ass we are. Sure, this stuff is processed to hell, but all the canned crab you can eat. This ain't no sardines in the can, dude.
マジ？やったー！俺も参加する！コンビーフは一人一個？それとも早い者勝ち？
You for real? Then hell yeah. Count me in. Is there enough corned beef for everyone, or is it first come, first served? I don't think I ever had canned crab, now that I think about it.
お前な、一人で何個も食えるもんじゃねえぞあれ。うまいのは最初の一個だけだって。
I had mackerel, salmon, sardines, anchovies, herring, oysters, not other shellfish stuff. Interesting prospects. It's not something you can eat a ton of, you know. When the first can't taste any
し
good.
ずきたちが来るなら、ノルマは一人7個に下がるのか。助かるな。
With Suzuki on board, we'd be at an even 7 cans apiece. What a
ところ
lifesaver.
で木の実の弁当の中身なんか缶詰より硬そうじゃね？
So what's up with your lunch, Kinomi? Looks harder than the cans. Boys usually pass the time by making fun of each other's lunches, but today they were united against a common foe. A pyramid of countless cans stood in the middle of the table. They had all been taken from the pantry of a certain student house. The expiration dates on them had all been scribbled out with marker.
よし、やろうども。各自毎缶切りの用意はいいな。
Oh, is this a roulette game? See which one has a rotten food in it? Why did you scribble out the dates? All right, lads, everyone get your can
食
numbers.
べるも地獄、残すも地獄。我ら5次元目の授業はないものと恐れぬ修羅となり、鉄の悪魔どもを平らげん。
Eat them sucks. No one likes leftovers, but these metal demons must be slain at all costs, if it means missing fifth
へえ、
period.
食材は下町の何でも紹介、マーケット中山からの提供です。
Oh, and a special thanks to our sponsors, Downtown McCoy and Nakayama Markets.
ヒュー！バカも休み休みイエーイ！
Yeah, baby, let's eat. I know, that's right. Boys united as one and hoisted their can openers in the air.
ほら、しずきも食べようぜ。缶切りならまだあるからさ。
Eat up, Suzuki. There's enough can openers to go around.
いや君らの弁当の毒味はごめんだって昨日言ったはずだ。
I told you yesterday I'm not interested in being your taste
それ
tester.
にその缶詰半分以上賞味期限切れてるだろう。
Guys, at least half those cans are past their expiration date.
なんだよ、釣れねえな。
Come on, live a little. What the hell are we doing, brother? Nah. Kinomi's fucking insane. An inexplicably excited group of guys. The real motivation seemed to be to spread the pain, I guess. But moved by their energy and conceding defeat, Sojiro got up from his seat and joined them. And before he could,
じゃあ私たちが釣り上げようかな。
hey, give it a rest, why don't
し
you?
ずきくん、あんなの放っておいて一緒にどう？
Get them. Suzuki, come eat with us. He's popular? And their interested party joined the fray. A girl with short but stylish hair was called out. She had also tried to get Sojiro to join the track and field club several days earlier.
いやそっちも遠慮したいなできれば。
Damn. That bad? Thanks for the offer, but I'd rather not. He answered with a troubled look on his face. On the table is nothing but a pile of fruit Sojiro had never seen before.
なんで？パパイヤとか嫌い？マンゴーもあるし、ヤシの実だってあるし、内緒だけど、夕張メロンもあるんだから。
Fruit importers? What is happening here? What? Why? You don't like papayas? We've got mango and coconut if you want something else. And don't tell anyone, but we've got a Yubari melon. We even got a Yubari melon. I don't even know what that is. Members of the fruit group pumped their fists in unison at the last delicacy.
待て、なんだヤシの実って？あれ食えるもんなの？
That's what I was just thinking. Do you even eat coconuts?
マンゴー余ったら回してほしいな。
I like a mango if you have any
バ
extra.
カ、肉食え肉。そんなんだから貧弱な体してんだぞお前ら。
It's the 80s. Beat, meat. Eat anything else is just gonna make you weak. Sojiro couldn't keep track of all the voices flying across the room.
わかるのはどっちも破滅的だってことだけだ。
All I know is nothing good would come out of either of these choices. That being said, he found it difficult to refuse them outright. His tendency to accept others' goodwill at face value occasionally left him frozen with indecision. Not accustomed to regular human interaction, standing with the judge when it was or was not appropriate to turn someone down. Second. Someone tapped the loss of the lamb on the shoulder.
ほっとけほっとけ。いちいちここのバカどもに付き合ってちゃ人生台無しだ。適当に流しとけばいいんだよ。
Don't mind them. If you get involved with every idiot who invites you to do something, you'll mess up your whole life. It's okay to turn them down, you know.
ほら、お前らもな、善良な羊を悪の園に引きずり込んでんじゃねえよ。
And you guys, stop trying to lead a good soul over here to the dark side. An inappropriately loud voice echoed throughout the classroom from behind him.
副会長、
Vice President. Sojiro turned to see a boy about a head taller than him. His long hair, while unkempt, had been brushed back, giving it an appealingly windswept look. I don't know why that was so difficult to read. His attractive features belied contempt in the classroom in his eyes. Or the eye, look, his attractive features belied the contempt for the classroom his eyes carried. Unlike the perpetually dopey-looking Sojiro, he was an extremely attractive boy capable of captivating anyone who so much as glanced at him. In most cases, such a boy's presence would be met with awe and respect, however.
なんだよ、副会長様のお出ましかよ。
Oh look, our mighty vice president has graciously decided to pay us a visit.
てめえらのバカ顔にはコリゴリだって、学食に陣取ってたんじゃなかったのかよ。
Are you going to take up residence in the cafeteria so you wouldn't have to see our stupid faces anymore?
へへへ。ここは見ての通り、ボンクラどもが集う貧民街でございますよ。王子はほら、A組の綺麗どころとカフェでお茶でもしてればいいじゃない。
Have you lost your way, your highness? You're slumming it where the commoners eat gruel from their troughs. Shouldn't you be sipping tea with the babes from Class A? Oh, what stellar reviews of this guy.
またしずき呼びに来たのかよ。青子女子といい、飛び丸殿下といい。しずき、なんかヤバいことしちゃったのか？
Why don't you leave Suzuki alone, huh? First Lady Aoko has it in for him. Now it's his highness too. Look what you've done to have earned the attention of such royalty.
しずきくんは校則違反しないじゃん。ちょっとそれ以外のルール破るだけで。
Really, but Suzuki is such a goody two-shoes. He's never broken any rules. Well, the rules of school at least.
ってことはやっぱり築地くん、青崎に振られてからそっちに走ったって本当だったのね。
But could it be that Tsukuji really switched teams after Aozaki rejected him? She rejected him. Interesting. They continued to give him a hard time. Sojiro could not help but feel sorry for him. Class vice president, on the other hand, showed absolutely no reaction whatsoever. He glared at them with a bored look and simply raised his voice.
相変わらず無駄に元気があって結構じゃねえかてめえら。
we should get some new material. I mean, that's
そんなに活力たぎってんなら冬季特別清掃班にだって参加できるよな。おい
why don't you spend your time more productively for once, like helping with the special winter cleaning team. Yeah, you heard.
今んところ自主的に申し出てるのは全校で一人しかいねえんだ。西井全員が参加すりゃ俺も青崎も肩の荷が下りるってもんなんだがよ。
One student in the entire school has signed up so far. Having all class C would be a huge help, but I guess you want me and Aozaki to do all the work. The menacing growl in his voice contrasted greatly with the boy's well-constructed looks. Both Team Canned and Team Fruit's words were doused like a fire being smothered. This is particularly due to the fear of the boy, mostly due to their fear of the special winter cleaning team. Yes, the special winter cleaning team. Joining meant spending part of your winter break cleaning up the old school building and mountainous rear courtyard that had been neglected by the previous two student councils. It was a form of legalized torture that could potentially ruin 3 whole days of your winter break. Only 3 days? I forget about my compensation in the form of extra credits. Right. No, it was pointless volunteer work for a student council project. It was practically a miracle that they had found even a single volunteer. No credits, 3 days. I don't know how Japan does it, but we couldn't put it down for like volunteer work, I guess.
いや僕らちょっと体弱いんでスミッチョで缶詰食べてますね。
Sorry, we're clearly not fit enough. Yeah, that's it. That stuff takes conditioning. Well, just eat our canned food in the corner now, okay?
私たちも貧血気味でこうやって果物食べてないと死んじゃうっていうか冬休みはもう予定いっぱいっていうか
Yeah, us too. We're anemic, you see. If we don't eat this fruit, we'll die. That and we already have plans or something. Pretty sure that's not how anemia works, but okay. As someone who's anemic, I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. All the students but one scuffled away.
よし昼食はやっぱり静かにやらねえとな。
That's much better. Lunchtime is best in silence.
1年坊主の教室より2年の教室の方がやかましいなんて苦情。いい加減にしやがれよ、アホども。
I'm tired of people complaining that you guys make even more noise than the freshmen. Get it together, you losers. Mod meekly scurried away. Tojo returned to join them, but as he did,
あ、お前はこっちだ、宗次郎。ちょ
Hold
い
on,
顔こせ。
Sojiro. You're with me. Hand and shoulder held him in
だよ
place.
生徒会応募人んちのテーブルマナーまで指図してほしくねえよな
Geez, who does student council think they are anyways? Barging in our classroom to lecture us on table manners. Kinomi cursed him under his breath to his friends. The second, the vice president turned to go.
はあ上等じゃねえか、木の実。いいぜ。お前が記念すべき2人目だ。冬休み、首を洗って待ってやがれ。
What was that, Kinomi? Or do you want to become our second volunteer? Perfect. I'll make it the best winter vacation you ever had. Vice President must have heard everything Kinomi said because he gave a thumbs up before figuratively jabbing it in his eyes.
はあ何言ってんですかあいつ
Yo, is this guy for real?
あれ自主的なイベントじゃんいくら副会長だって強制はできないですよね
It's voluntary, isn't it? It ain't voluntary, you gotta force people to do it, am I right? Problem Child of Class C laughed merrily.
そりゃ昨日までの話だ。
That was
会
yesterday.
長の提案が学校側に受理されてな。本日付で生徒会役員は強制力のある推薦権をもらえたんだよ。
The school has since accepted the president's proposal that the council members be able to forcibly enlist students for participation. That's messed up, but I guess if it has to get
会
done.
長と副会長の推薦は絶対だ。拒否した場合、学校側はともかく青崎が何するか俺には止められねえから そのつもりでな。
Any recommendations by the president and vice president are ironclad. Refusing them means breaking the rules in addition to facing Aozaki's wrath, which, let me tell you now, I won't be able to stop.
げえそれ事実上の死刑宣告じゃ生徒会マジ応募
You know, his voice actor is really funny. What are you hanging? You're hanging me by the balls here. This is extortion or blackmail or something. You know, his terrorized shriek continued behind them as the vice president and Sojiro left the classroom. Guji is interesting. I can't tell if he's potentially evil or
お前も大
and
変
actually a
だ
good
な
person.
宗十郎
What am I going to do with you,
あ
Sojiro?
んたも割と暇なんだな副会長
With me? Aren't you busy with other things, Vice President? Oh, this is a quaint little room. The empty student council room. This is a student council room? Kind of packed, no? Misaki High Student Council had use of 2 rooms. One was a large office space specifically made for the student council. The second was an archive room, once used as a preparatory office for math courses. As the latter of the two, the walls were lined with densely packed shelves, making an already cramped room seem even more confined. For this reason, it served more as a private refuge to the student council. The 2 students sat across from each other. Tobimaru Tsukuji. This was the son of the chairman of Misaki High School and the vice president of its student council. So maybe not evil, maybe the son of an evil person. Like Sojiro, he was in his second year and first met the transfer student a week earlier, when the task of looking after him was dumped onto the student council.
副会長はやめろって。クソったれな話だが、俺は所詮会長の犬だからな。
Please stop calling me that. People may as well call me the president's dog, the shit I have to take from her. As self-deprecating as his words were, he always seemed dissatisfied with the arrangement. He took a snack from his pocket and grimaced at it before taking a bite. The 100-calorie energy bar sacrificed flavor for efficiency, but somehow not enough to prevent him gnawing on it like a piece of jerky.
そうかでも犬は良くないな飛び丸
See, what you're saying to me, Maru, but being a dog isn't exactly a good thing. Yotaro sat in the chair with a concerned look on his face.
あ？犬がどうしたって？
Huh? What's wrong with dogs?
犬は良くないって言った例えが違う気がするし何より怖いぞあれ
Dogs aren't good. I mean, it's a bad comparison in the first place, but dogs are way scarier.
なんだよ。山奥育ちのくせに
I was
犬
gonna,
が怖いのか？
gonna say, you grew up in the mountains and you're still afraid of dogs. And it's also been 10 days and you're still bandaged from your neck down.
そりゃ大抵の生き物は怖いけど犬は別格だ
I'm afraid of most animals, but dogs are in a class of their own. Did the dog give you the injuries that you're
徒党を
hiding?
組んだ野犬ほど始末に負えないものはない
A pack of wild dogs is particularly
足
terrifying.
の速さも脅威だけど何より執念深すぎる
They're as tenacious as they are fast.
坂だろうと追いかけてくるし最後の一匹になるまで引かないんだぞ
No matter where you run, they'll chase you as long as there's still life in them. This is... We know they're witches. Are there werewolves? Is he a werewolf? Jojo opened his lunch as he spoke. Inside the bright green cloth, 3 beautifully made triangular rice balls.
ショックだ。
Just look at that. Look
シ
at
ョ
what?
ックって何が
What do you mean?
いや、そんなこの世のものとは思えない握り飯を見たのは初めてだ。思わず絶句しちまった。
It's just that those are some special looking rice balls you got there.
それどっちなんだ
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
褒めてるんだよ、バカ。
I'm trying to compliment you, idiot. Jojo was already confounded by phrasing that could be interpreted in multiple ways. Euphemisms and subtle sarcasm were often lost to him. Yeah, I got that bit. I think we all got that bit. It was only on rare occasions, like this one, that he chose to confirm what was being said. Tobimaru had come to suspect that Sojiro had a very black and white way of seeing things.
ところでその固まった小麦粉みたいなの美味しいのか？
Say, does the hard chunk of flour-looking stuff taste any good? Sojiro stared at the energy bar with a curious look on the face.
まずくはねえがうまくもねえよ。まあ試してみる分には止めねえが。
It's not meant to taste good. You can try it if you want.
人間何事も手間暇惜しむようになっちゃおしまいだぜ。ことが三大欲求ならなおさらだ。
People shouldn't hold back when it comes to three base desires. Tobimaru quickly finished off his bar, put another one on the table, and grabbed one of Sojiro's rice ball. Sojiro failed to notice the rudeness of the forced exchange and gave the preferred energy bar a try. Proffered energy bar.
なんだか土を食べてるみたいだ。
It kind of tastes like dirt.
違いない。遊びをなくせば人生こんなもんだって見本だな。
Now you get it. It's what joyless existence tastes like. Out of principle, Sojiro labored over his energy bar, cringing all the while. He was both curious of the unknown and loath to leave something unfinished.
今無理に平らげる必要はねえぞ。
My reading
そい
is
つの
terrible
利点は
today.
携帯食ってところだからな。素で味気ないが食えるうちは味が落ちないのがいいところだ。
Don't force yourself to finish it right now. The whole point of it is that you can eat it on the run, and while the flavor isn't that great, at least it's consistent.
まあそっちはともかく。どうだ少しは慣れたか？
Anyway, never mind that. Are you getting used to how things work around here?
ああ、飛丸や青崎が気を使ってくれているからね。
Yes. You and Naozaki have been a huge help. Tobimaru turned his eyes up to the ceiling, unable to handle Sojiro's carefree smile. As absent-minded as Sojiro might have been, his expressions were nonetheless incredibly earnest. It was like a poison to someone as self-absorbed as Tobimaru.
だ
Yaoi?
から青崎は来ねえんだよな。
Yaoi or envy? Now I know what Aozaki goes so out of her way just to avoid him. He took a bite from the rice ball to steer himself away from such thoughts. Though now cold, the rice had managed to maintain its freshness, startling Tobimaru.
いや待て。気を使ってんのは俺だけじゃねえか。青崎なんてお前が転入した日に彼迷惑だから見張ってての一言だけだぞ。
Huh? Wait a sec, I'm the one who has your back. You know that, right? Aozaki told me you were annoying to deal with. Why would you tell him that? Are you jealous?
なんでそこで君が怒るんだ？
Did I say something to upset you?
いやだからだな。お前が学校になれるよう陰ながら見守ってんのは俺で、青崎は生徒会室で全校生徒の弱みを集めてるだけって話だ。
Don't you get it? I'm the one
苦
help
労し
you.
てんのは俺だけじゃねえかって。
I'm the one help you keep your head above water, while Aozaki sits in the student council room, digging up dirt on other students. I'm the one who gets lumbered with the crap jobs while she gets to. Tobimaru stopped himself, realizing how ridiculous he sounded. Sojiro, rightly so, knew it was nothing to get this upset over.
な
Well,
いいさ。青崎に言いつけられなきゃこうなることもなかったしな。
well, whatever. I'm only here because she told me to be.
知ってるかあいつどうして俺にこんな役させたと思う？
Do you know? Do you know why she stuck me with you?
副会長だからだろ。
Because you're the vice president? Tobimaru's handsome face went dark.
あのな、どうして副会長が転入生一人にかかりっきりにならなくちゃいけねえんだよ。
Do you really think it's normal that a student council vice president to waste all his time on a single transfer student? Yes?
いいぜ。機会があったら青崎本人に聞いてみな。あいつの本性がわかるからよ。
Whatever, man. Try asking her directly if you get the chance. You'll learn who she really is. He snatched another bite of the rice ball while grumbling under his breath. There it was again, rice grains that were just dry enough to be fresh and tender in the mouth, a morsel that betrayed its humble description, which must have been delicately molded by a master chef rather than haphazardly clumped into a ball.
そして何よりこの塩加減、中の具から染み出した厳妙な醤油加減はどうだ。食欲をそそるどころか、脳を食欲だけにするような。おお。
Just the right amount of salt, the subtlest of soy sauce notes coming from the center. It doesn't just whet your appetite. It seems to desire centers of your brains and... Oh, wow. It's really... having a food wars
飛び丸
moment.
思ってることが口に出てるみたいだけど
Tomar, you appear to be speaking out loud.
いや、それほどのショックだったってわけだ。
It's nothing. Just color me surprised.
なあ、その字。これ具はなんだ？
Hey, Sonoji, what is this feeling anyway? Flowing naturally to inquire about the unexpectedly delicious bite. He had been nibbling around the edges and had not yet reached its center.
ああそれはイナゴ
We gotta kill this kid. We gotta entomb this kid. That would be grasshopper?
ありえねえ。
No way. Vicer choked on his cough. He assumed Choder would prefer earthly ingredients to seafood on account of his mountain life, but never expected it would use grasshopper.
くそ、食う前に言えよな。信じられねえぐらいうまいと思っちまったじゃねえか。
Damn it. You should have warned me first, Sojiro. But man, was that delicious.
ああ今のは嘘だよ
You gotta kill this guy. I was just joking. They locked eyes for a moment.
本当は鮭いくらなんでもイナゴはね
It's salmon. I would never eat grasshopper.
おお、そうだよな。いや、安心した。いくらなんでもイナゴはねえよな。
I don't know. That's kind of hard to mix up. I guess unless you puree the grasshopper, I guess. Right. Yeah, I knew that. Of course it wouldn't be grasshopper.
ああこんな都会で身の締まったイナゴが手に入るもんか
I mean, you can't find grasshoppers in the city to begin with. As curious as those words were, Tobimaru decided to let them go.
たく、どっちにしても冗談きついぜ。危うく吐き出すところだったじゃねえか。らしくねえぞ、宗次郎。
Gee, Sojiro. That's not something to joke about. You want me to hurl you or something? I keep mixing up their names to become Sojimaru. Maybe that's the OTP.
君が青崎の悪口を言うからだ
Don't say bad things about Ayazaki then. Zoro closed his eyes as he continued to chew on his rice ball. Tomomaru watched incredulously as Sojiro made no attempt to hide his disapproval.
おい、今のはさすがに聞き捨てならねえぞ。俺が青崎の悪口を言ったから、意種返しをしたと、そういうことか？
Okay, that I can't let go. You're really saying you were taking revenge for Ayazaki? Sojiro continued chewing. The country boy's silent protest said all that needed to be said. The Western suddenly looked like he had been struck by lightning.
なんてこった。お前、まさか青崎に惚れてんのか？
What the? Don't tell me you've fallen for Awazaki.
そうなのか？そうなんだな。おい、眠ってねえで起きろ。
You have, haven't you? Hey, I asked you a question, damn it. Tomomaru flew out of his chair and violently shook Sojiro by the shoulders. Sojiro opened his eyes.
そうか。
I forgot.
お
You
前
don't
は
know,
1年前の惨劇を知らないんだな。
you don't know what happened a year ago.
知ってりゃ、そんなストレートな破滅願望を持つこともなかったろうに。
Because if you did, you wouldn't be treading down this path of destruction, my friend.
君の言葉には誤解が含まれてるけどそれは後にするそれより1年前の惨劇って
You got it all wrong, but that's okay. Tell me what happened a year ago first. Tobimaru regained his composure and sat down after a moment's thought.
仕方ねえ。この手の噂をするのは好きじゃねえんだけどな。
Okay, I'm not one to gossip, but for you, I'm making an exception. Tomura reassured himself that it was in Sergio's best interest as a young man to know.
あれは青崎がまだ1年の頃の話だ。
It went down when Aozaki was a freshman.
あの頃はみんな入学したばっかりで、青崎がどんな性格か誰も知らなかった。
Everyone was new to high school, so nobody knew what anyone was like yet. Included her
あい
included.
つ外見は文句なしに美人だからな。
She was a total babe. I mean, just look at her.
そりゃ男どもは狂気乱舞したもんさ。
All the guys went crazy for her. Little did they know, soon after, they would go crazy for an entirely different reason.
4月5月はもう上を下への大騒ぎだよ。
The first couple of months, the school descended into
あ
chaos.
の時ばかりは上級生も下級生もなかったな。
Gotta remember that early on in the year, no one cared about class hierarchy.
野郎同士の牽制、共闘、果ては決闘まで。まあよくも騒いだもんさ。青崎に近寄るだけでも大変だったんだぜ。
So tons of guys were fighting themselves over her. It was insane. Just getting anywhere near Ozaki was next to impossible.
なんでそんなよくわからない事態になるんだ？
He really is so dense. I don't understand. Why would that happen?
そりゃ青崎は一人きり、命知らずな野郎は延べ100人ほどいたからだよ。
Because that's what happens when 100 guys like the same girl. Duh.
一人一人青崎とランチしても3ヶ月かかるだろ。
It was taking Ozaki 3 months just to have lunch with them all individually.
だからまずは男同士でつまんねえ暗闘があったのさ。
So people decided to fight over who got to ask her out.
おお。
まあいい。わからねえならそこは飛ばそう。所詮負け犬どもの話だしな。本筋にはなりえねえ。
They were all just a bunch of losers if you ask me. What happened next is the juicy part.
でな、そんなどうでもいい戦いを勝ち残った奴らは列なして1年の女に言い寄ったわけだ。
Those who emerged from the conflict unscathed made their move.
青崎はあれでなんていうか相手のなけなしの誠意じゃなくてあれか勇気、そういうのを無視できずに認めちまうやつだからな。
Though she might not seem like it, she's the type who likes to put a guy down lightly, you know, because of their sincerity or courage or whatever.
言い寄ってくる相手を可能な限り丁寧に断ってた。
At any rate, she rejected all comers as politely as possible.
が中にはそれで勘違いしちまうやつもいてよ。
There's one guy who couldn't take a hint.
3年のある野郎がこれは脈ありと見て青崎に何度も言い寄ったんだよ。
There's a third year who just refused to give up.
多分そいつ頭がおかしかったんだ。今にして思うとそうとしか思えん。
Maybe it's a little nuts. It's hard to see it any other way at this point. Incidentally, Tomura decided to gloss over the fact that this student was also the former student council president.
学園ばかりか。青崎の家まで押しかけたそうでな。あまりにしつこいんで青崎も堪忍袋の尾が切れたんだろう。ちょっと口にするのははばかられる方法で振ったんだよ。
What the hell? Yeah, I just. How does Norbert? How are you going to act like this is casual here? You did leave her alone, which you get to chalk it up to being young and dumb, and then you stalk her home. Yes, allegedly multiple times. The way it's structured. He didn't keep it up only at school. Later, he started following her home. That must have been the last straw because Aozaki wigged out. She sent him packing in ways I'm not comfortable repeating out loud. Deserved.
結果、そいつは自分から他校に転入希望したばかりか、三崎町からも逃げ出しちまって、青崎も1ヶ月ばかり自宅謹慎を食らった。
In conclusion, the student didn't just request a transfer, he tucked tail and left Misaki completely. Aozaki was sentenced to a month of house arrest. For what?
世に言う血の公会堂事件だ。
Came to be known as the Bloody Town Hall incident.
詳しく知りたけりゃ本人はまずいな。新聞部にでも行け。あそこの部長は命知らずだから 聞けば面白がって教えてくれる。
She could tell you about she could tell you more about it than I can. But I wouldn't recommend asking her. Ask the school newspaper editor instead. She loves a bit of gossip.
飛び丸、その具体的な表現を恋に避けてないか。
Tomar, I get the feeling you're not telling me everything.
仕方ねえだろ。理事長の息子だろうがなんだろうが、怖いものは怖えし、高校ぐらいは無事卒業しとかねえとな。
Hey, you do the same if you were me. Maybe the board chairman's son and all, but something scared even me. And I want to graduate in one piece.
うちの女子の制服見るたびに規制を上げるトラウマなんて持ちたくねえよ。
You want me to freak out every time I see a girl in a school uniform? Girl tilted his head to the side in confusion. Tomorrow had lost him with that comment.
まあいい。
Well,
それより
whatever.
なんで青崎なんかがいいんだよ、宗次郎。
What is it about Aozaki that you like anyway? He tilted his head again, this time to the other side.
おい、お前、本当に青崎が好きなのか？
Are you really that hot
単
for
に
her?
胸がドキドキ言ってるだけなら、それは恋じゃなくて恐怖だってオチもあるぜ。いくらその字がぼんやりでも、理由ってもんがあるだろう。
But if your heart pounds in her presence, that could be caused by fear, you know. Some of you aren't stupid enough to like her for no good reason. He tilted his head even further. Tomari was saying what Tomari was saying sounded off, but Sojo decided not to press the matter. All the more because he found many of his own emotions towards Aokazaki to be incomprehensible.
そうだな、おかしい。俺はあまり彼女を知らないのにね。
It is kind of strange, to be honest. I don't even know her that well. That was because they had not truly spoken to each other since the day she showed him around. Every time Sojiro tried to talk to her, she immediately got up and left. Did they not do the church thing between the extra time? As fate would have it, they ended up working together that recent Sunday, but made only idle chatter on the way back. Okay,
け
they
ど
did.
飛び丸、君は知らないだけなんだ。
There's something you don't know either, Tobimaru.
時々なんだが、誰かの視線を感じて振り返ってみると、いつ失敗するかを心配して見ている人がいる。
Sometimes I feel someone's gaze on me. When I turn around to see who it is, she's there, looking like she's worried about me. That I'll mess us
飛び
up.
丸の言う通り、ただ廊下で俺を見かけて、単に監視していただけなのかもしれない。本当は俺のことなんて気にせず素通りしたいのかもしれない。
I know you'll say she just happened to see me in the hallway and was keeping an eye on me. Maybe she secretly wishes she could ignore me when we pass each
け
other.
ど、どんな種類であれ、彼女の心配は本物だ。
Whatever the reason, I believe her concern is genuine.
それに、ここが一番大事だと思うんだけど、
And that's the most important thing about all this.
実際の話、青崎のそういうところのおかげで、俺は助かっていたりするんだ。
I believe that nature of hers has helped me out repeatedly. His tone was measured and sincere. Tomura sighed with a tinge of regret. If not for those words, he could have introduced Sojiro to a more suitable girl with whom he could have lived out the rest of his school days in peace. He never went to such lengths for his other friends. Generally speaking, if they had some benefit to him, he was unafraid of exploiting another. Sociopath, okay. Chairman's son, tracks. If they were of no use, he didn't bother getting involved with them. That was how Tomura Suzuki operated. Scooty. I keep adding more. Sojiro happened to be the type of person who provided no benefit to Tokumaru. It somehow sparked in him a desire to help. But this is my yaoi fanfic. What the hell? If not, the friendship was completely alien to him. He just did not have many people he felt that close to. So if Sojiro had really fallen for Aoko, it was not his place as the friend to try to change his mind.
やれやれ。結局、惚れてるやつには理由なんていらねえんだな。
Well, I guess it's true that love knows no reason.
そんなことはない。理由なら一つある。彼女を一目見たときに、綺麗だなって思ったぞ。
I wouldn't say there's no reason for it. I can think of one at least. I thought she was beautiful the moment I first laid eyes on her.
Huh?
Huh? But my shoulder slumped.
なんだあんだけ恥ずかしいセリフ言っといて要は外見に惚れてますな結局見てくれかよ宗次郎
After all that, you just like her for her looks? Listen to yourself, Sojiro.
綺麗なものに見とれるのはいいことじゃないのか
So simple. What's wrong with appreciating
自
beauty?
分を綺麗に見せる努力をしているんだから外見から内面を判断するのはそんなおかしな話じゃないと思う
I don't think there's anything wrong with judging someone by the physical appearance they worked hard to create.
ん
That sounds like a sophism to Tobimaru, but he had no counterpoint to offer.
しょうがねえ分かったよこの話はもうやめようその字が誰をてめえの女にするか俺の知ったことじゃねえし
Alright, I get it. I'll let it go. It's none of my business who you go after anyway. Now, Tobimaru was mistaken about one major point during this whole conversation. Namely that Sojiro was not head over heels in love with Aoko and hoped to go steady with her. He merely liked her as a person. Though I could have foreseen the massive calamity that would be caused by the simple misunderstanding.
だがよ一つだけ忠告しておくぜ宗次郎
I just got one piece of advice for you, Sojiro.
青崎は喧嘩をした相手だろうと別に嫌うわけじゃない逆に言えば親切にしたって別に好かれるわけでもない
Just
い
because
い
Aozaki,
例が俺だ
oh. Just because Aozaki fights with someone doesn't mean she hates them. And just because she's nice to someone doesn't mean she likes them. I'm a prime example of that. He spoke of a pained sigh as if opening old wounds from the past.
そうか
I see.
詳しく
What happened?
おう昔なあいつがあんまりに独善的だったんでつい手を挙げかけちまったことがある
Long story short, she used to be really full of herself. And I once tried to hit her.
半年前の夏だ1年もあいつと生徒会やってたもんだから俺も女っつうより戦友って気になっててな
Happened last summer. I'd already been working with her in the student council for a year at that point and saw her more like a fellow soldier in the trenches than a girl.
つい勢いで平手打ちをしようと右手を上げた我ながら4番バッターも角也という腰のひねり確かな実感とともに俺は勝利を確信したもんさ
One day, I lost my temper, took a swing at her. I like to think I've gotten a mean right hook, and I slugged her pretty good, so I thought I won that round. He had a distant look in his eyes as his world tread off.
翌日になってこりゃ完全に敵扱いされたなと覚悟して生徒会室に行ってみりゃ青崎はいつも通りだった
Next day, when I came to the student council room, I thought she'd be spoiling for a fight. She was the same as always.
で以来あいつと俺は会長と副会長で収まってる
Since then, we simply continued working together as president and vice president. Which sighed at his story. He then said, with absolute confidence,
今の話を総合すると君は単にのろけたいのか
So you just wanted to brag about how close you two are? What is up with this kid? Clearly he had missed the point entirely.
なわけあるか今の話のどこに甘酸っぱい要素があんだよ
Yeah, are you kidding me? How the hell do you come to a conclusion after hearing a story like that? Actually,
俺としちゃあいつを女として見なくなった決定的な事件だったんだがね
I'm telling you from that day forward, I could never see her again as a woman.
なんだ違うのか
Oh, I was mistaken. A look of disappointment filtered across Sojiro's face. Tobimaru revisited his opinion of Sojimaru was something of a simpleton, but there was a quality to him that Tobimaru could not quite place.
とにかくだ俺が言いたいのは青崎青子の好き嫌いの基準ってのは普通じゃないってことだ
Just take it from me. Her standards are anything but normal.
いいことをすれば好かれる気に入らないことをすれば嫌われるってわけじゃねえんだよあのお姫様は
She won't like you for being nice to her, and she won't hate you for being mean to her. That's the kind of princess she is. Sojiro answered that he would keep in mind as he looked to the clock. The time motif. Remember the time motif, I believe. Had been talking for a while, and lunch was almost
もう
over.
君からの話はないか？
That or the creator just really likes dog. Just really likes dogs. Is there anything else you want to discuss?
初めからねえよ、そんなの。
I didn't have anything to discuss in the first place.
ん？
Why Tomorrow even brought him here in the first place? Sojiro tilted his head in wonder, but shook it off to deal with the more pressing matters at hand.
よし。じゃあもう少し付き合ってくれ。飛び丸に聞きたいことがあったんだ。
Would you stay a little longer? There's something I wanted to ask you. Tomorrow sat up straight. I've never seen Sojoro's face look so serious before. Sojiro set aside a rice ball and cleared his throat.
実は昨日、こんなことがあって。
It's about something that happened yesterday. He spoke solemnly. And as carefully as possible, he recounted what had occurred the night before.
しずきくんいる？
Suzuki, you in there? It was 10 to 12, and lunchtime was quickly coming to an end. Her face popped into the class C as lively as ever, as if there was an everyday occurrence. Aoko Azaki announced her presence. Aoko wasn't a part of Class C. She didn't let it bother her as she casually entered the classroom. In contrast, the baby birds who had been so noisily chirping while eating lunch quickly quieted and began to rearrange their seats.
どういう意味よそれ。
Are you trying to tell me something? She bristled internally before looking around the room. She could not see the male student she had come here to find. He had hardly stood out. So she thought he might be hidden in a corner somewhere, but that appeared to not be the case.
有里くん、出席番号12番のしずきくんは？
Arizato, do you have any idea where Suzuki from seat 12 is? Ako kept her tone professional.
俺？しずきならさっき飛び丸殿下が連れて行ったよ。
Wait, me? Suzuki left with His Highness Tobimaru a while ago. The boy was shocked that she actually knew his name. One might think the reason students referred to Tobimaru's Scuji by a royal title was because he was the chairman's son, but it was because he actually acted like royalty. In fact, the vice president was said to have taken a liking to the title.
飛び丸が？あいつしずきくんと仲いいの？
He's with Torimaru. Are those two friends or something? You don't know about you assigning him to... maybe he's a villain. She seemed surprised. The class seemed surprised at her surprise.
いいも悪いも築地くんが男子と仲良く話してるのって今まで見たことなかったよ私たち。
No idea, but we've never seen Scuji to be friendly with another boy before.
木の実くんはバカだから別だけど。
Well, maybe Kinomi, but he's an idiot, so that hardly counts.
そうだよな。初めは殿下もあんまり話してなかったけど、3日もしたら楽しそうに口喧嘩してたもんな。
Yeah, His Highness was slow to warm to him, but since the third day, it's been nothing but friendly
ま
arguments.
しずき相手に突っ張っても仕方ないじゃん。あいつ変だけどいいやつだし。
Well, you can't help but really like Sasuke. He may be a little odd, but he's good people.
そうよね。いい人だもんね、宗十郎くん。
Totally. Sure, is really nice. Totally. It's the 80s, man. Far out. Having recomposed themselves, Class C started chatting again. Alko listened for a bit before turning around and leaving the class with a later. All the Sojiro talk finished as quickly as it started. Lunchtime was coming to a close in the student council room. Sojiro, having told his story, was smiling with satisfaction. Tomorrow, still sitting across from him, was frowning.
さあ、感想を聞かせてくれ。
So, what do you think? Sojiro told his yarn as best he could. Tomorrow fingered his brow as if he was angry or concerned.
なあ、そうのじ。お前、人をバカにできるほど器用なやつじゃねえよな。
Sonoji, try to make fun of me? A word of advice. Leave that to us smart people,
失礼な。器用な方だぞ俺は。
Take that back. I'm more clever than you think. His response only confirmed Torimaru's suspicion. You have to be one of the two possible conclusions. That what Sojiro had just told him was true, or that Sojiro was so tired he must have been hallucinating all that time. Torimaru sincerely hoped it was the latter.
宗十郎、率直に言って俺はお前が気に入っている。
So to be honest, Sojiro, you're growing up.
嘘のない人間なんてのは人間じゃね
Anybody that never lied can't be really considered human. Ah, to be human is to lie. Okay, Geppetto.
え。俺は人間嫌いだからそんなお前さんが気に入ってたりするんだが、
So
そ
for
んな奴まで馬鹿げたことを言い出したら俺は明日から何を頼りに昼飯を食えばいいんだ。
for a misanthrope like me, I suppose you could say it's easy to like you. But if you're going to stick to your dumb story, I'm not sure that I'm going to do for lunch starting tomorrow.
学食で食べればいいんじゃないか？
Just eat in the cafeteria. Being suggesting Torma's face darkens.
わかった。はっきり言おう。それは幻覚だ。
Okay, I spelled out for you. You were hallucinating.
幽霊の正体見たり枯れ尾花ってやつだろうさ。それでも納得いかないってんならいい精神科を紹介してやる。
If you still insist you saw a ghost, I'd be more than happy to introduce you to a good psychiatrist.
それが君の感想か。
Oh, he's talking about
ならいいんだ。
when he saw Aoko enter the haunted house, which is weird because wouldn't they all know where she lives by this point? But whatever. So that's your take on it. Good to know. As bitter as Tobimaru's words might have sounded to most, Sojiro swallowed them whole.
そりゃ俺だって神隠しの類だと思ったよ。
I already figured as much. It sounds like a tall tale to me too.
けど都会じゃもしかしてそれもありなのかもしれないだろ。
I was starting
確か
to
めたか
wonder
ったのはそこなんだ。
if it was normal for that kind of thing to go on in the city. So I wanted to hear your opinion. Satisfied, Sojiro finished off his last rice ball and neatly folded the cloth.
おい、すると何か？
Hey, hold on a second.
お前は都会の人間は口から火を吹いたり腕が伸びたりするのが普通だと思ったのか？
You didn't actually think it was normal for people in the city to breathe fire or extend their arms like they're made of rubber, did you? One Piece happening right now?
まあ普通じゃないけど特別でもないんじゃないかと思ったん
In
だ。
the 80s? Well, not normal. As much as within the realm of
こ
possibility.
こは山にないものが溢れている何でもありの場所だ。だからそれぐらいやってのける人だってもしかしているのかなと。
Cities full of extraordinary things we don't have up in the mountains. And I thought it might have some extraordinary people as well. That his face was as serious as it was made. Tobimaru realized just how big of a culture shock Sojiro must have been experiencing. Living up in the mountains with no electricity, in a place where the night sky was as it always had been, where humans were just one more organism in nature's garden. It makes sense that those conditions would create a boy like him. The idea of children growing up so pure wasn't appealing, but maybe it was a natural to forgive civilization when your population was so small. Or perhaps it was so simple, a world that excessive knowledge was deemed irrelevant. It was precisely because city life offered him so much that was impossible until now that he had come to the conclusion that anything was possible here.
安心しろ。確かにこっちにはタチの悪い奴らばっかりだけどな。そんな魔法使いみたいな奴はいねえよ。
Relax, the city might have its share of shady guys, but none of them are magicians in disguise.
そうだといいんだけど。
Oh, you're right. About that. Sergio seemed unsure. And on Tobimaru's part, there were things to Sergio's story that he found hard to swallow. Okay, so are neither of them magicians? There's no way Tobimaru is just faking this whole conversation, right? Is it true or not? The incident Sojiro had described was disturbing.
まあ、事の真偽というか、どんな間違いでそう見えたかは置いておいてだ。
For the time being, let's assume what you say actually happened.
結果だけ見れば、 うちの生徒が夜の公園で人を殺したってことになる。しかも双方控えめに表現しても普通じゃね
That ultimately mean that one of our students killed someone in the park last night, and neither of the parties involved were normal. Wait, maybe I don't know what he's talking about. Did he see Alice's battle? The newcomer to town, Sojiro assumed that everyone his age was a student at the school. For better or for worse, he was right.
一人は火炎放射器を持って、もう一人は、まあなんだ、なぎなたでも持ち出したのか、刃物らしきものが何メートルも伸びたときた。
One of them was equipped with a flamethrower, while the other had a naginata, or at least a bladed weapon resembling one, that was a good few feet in length. Sojiro bobbed his head up and down as he listened to the disbelief in Tobira's voice. Hearing it repeated by someone else, he could see how someone might think he was taking them for a ride.
正気を疑うな。尋常じゃないぞその話。
Look, I'm not crazy. It really did happen, I said.
宗十郎、お前、実は俺をからかってんだろ。
Give it to me straight, Sojiro. You're pulling my leg, aren't you?
いや、全く。
No, I'm not.
けどまあ、都会にはそんな人間はいないんだろ。
But I get it. There's no one in the city who can do that, right?
なら飛び丸の言う通り、夢でも見てたんだ。ここのところアルバイトと試験が重なって辛くて。
If not, I was probably just hallucinating, like you said. Working part-time while studying for exams has been pretty tiring. Winter break was just around the corner, and the end of term exams were but a week away. Both were providing formidable opponents to Sojiro.
俺は基本ができてないから、人の倍程度の勉強じゃ追いつけない。ほら、勉強ばかりしているとノイローゼをするんだろ。
I don't even know the basics, so I need to study twice as hard as everyone else. I mean, anyone could start to lose it. They did nothing but study, right?
そりゃするんじゃなくてなるものだが、まあ、何にせよ、やりすぎ飲みすぎは良くねえわな。試験前ぐらいはバイト減らしたらどうだ？
I wouldn't say you're losing it, but you're definitely pushing yourself too hard. Maybe cut back on work a bit until the exams are over.
減らしてはいるんだけどね。年末ってアルバイトを休む人も多くて、その代行も頼まれがちだし。
I try to cut back, but a lot of people take off at the end of the year, so they often ask me to fill in for their shifts. He shrugged helplessly. Oops. It was obvious from his words that had been busy. Even if he was not going crazy, lack of sleep could have caused him to daydream. Even if this all did go down in the middle of the night. Why does Whip these there's like too many articles. Sounds tough, Sojiro.
ああ、実はかなり参ってる。都会の暮らしは深刻だ。
Yes, city life has been exhausting. Sojiro nodded with a pained look on his face. What was strange, however, was that he did not look the least bit tired.
泣き言言わねえのは感心するけどな。
I'm impressed.
お前、新郎は顔に出ないたちか？
I'm impressed you never complained about it. You always look like nothing bothers you at all.
そりゃ、新郎はどこも痛まないからね。
That's just because it isn't bad enough to bother me. As he answered, Sojiro looked up at the clock on the wall. Lunchtime was almost over.
飛び丸、時間だ。
The time.
ああ、もうそんなに経ったか。気にせず先に行ってていいぜ。俺はまだ用があるからよ。
Really? Is that late already? You can go ahead. I still have things to do. Sojiro watched as Topura made a gesture that seemed to lament the life of a student council member. His eyes looked as if they were looking at a piece of art and not understanding its value.
授業をサボれる身分っていうのは羨ましいな。
This is so simple. I'm jealous that you can just skip class whenever you want.
そういうの、飛び丸が嫌いな手抜きじゃないのか？
I would just thought you were sticklers for the rules.
そりゃ誤解も甚だしい。俺の欠席は手抜きじゃねえ。特権ってやつだと言ったろ。
How many times I have to tell you? It's not skipping when I got special permission. The Vice President angrily defended himself as he stood up. The transfer student merely gazed at him, unfazed.
おいおい、あれだけ説明したのに全然分かってなかったのか？
Hey, you're not honestly implying you still don't understand after all that, are you?
しょうがねえ。まず座れ。いいか、その字。
Would sit down and listen, Sonoji.
常人を上回る英気と幸運を兼ね備えながら、座することなく精進してきた俺でも、ここを卒業しちまえば裸一貫になっちまうんだぞ。
I was granted talent and luck beyond that of most people, but I always put in the work. But once I leave here, I'm on my own. Now do you get it?
ひでえ話だ。
I'm sick of explaining this to people.
てめえの家柄を活用できんのはあと1年ちょいだけなんだぜ。
My
これの一体どこが羨ましいってんだ。
family status will only keep me afloat for one more year. What about that could possibly...
普通
you possibly
一
envy?
生続くはずの親の七光ってやつが俺の場合はたった3年間しかねえんだからな。
Most people can live off the privilege of their entire lives, but the best I get is 3 measly years.
となりゃ有効なうちに使っておかなきゃもったいなくておちおち眠ってもいられね
So take advantage of that while I have it.
え。ああ、嫌だ嫌だ。何が嫌かってバカどもとガン首並べて金勘定するのが嫌だ。たく嫉妬渦巻く大人の世界じゃ俺のオブラートみたいな心なんてパックリ飲まれて溶けちまうこと受け合いだろうさ。
Just the thought of having to count beans with the rest of you idiots out there gets me livid. The adult world is going to kill me. The envy alone would be enough to destroy my fragile heart. While he must have been joking, Sergio took this tone to be completely sincere. He listens as he envied Tobimaru's ability to be so open about his feelings. From his frame of reference, there was nothing he could do but take Tobimaru for his word. When...
あら、そんな権利なんて留年すればいくらでも引き延ばせるのに。なんなら協力してあげましょうか。この私でよろしければ。
If you're looking to extend your privileges, why not stay in school? I'll be more than happy to arrange that for you. The door to the student council room flew open, washing away Sergio's half-hearted response to his friend. This frosty statement destroyed the warm atmosphere of the room. And it also marked the abrupt end to Tobimaru Scoogy's reign there.
いや、いい。自分の夢は自分の力だけで叶えようと常々思ってるんだ。
No, I just meant that our dreams are something that we take hold ourselves.
そう。なら今みたいな恥ずかしいこと力説しないでね。廊下にまで聞こえてたわよ、副会長さん。
Really? Then why not spend more time on that than that pathetic display? I could hear you all the way from the hallway, Mr. Vice President. Not missing a beat, Aoko Ozaki stepped into the room. Her dark hair was slightly disheveled as if she had been running. Her gaze missed the sitting Sojiro entirely and was focused completely on the ranting vice president.
頑張れ、飛び丸。
Good luck, Tobimaru. Jojo quickly got up and headed back to his
割
classroom.
と白状なんだな、お前って。
That's cold, man. Tobimaru grumbled in front of Aoko.
だって時間がない。
It's almost time for class.
だから、そういうのが白状とだな。
Just prove my point. He cut himself off. Aoko briefly shifted her gaze to Sojiro.
時間がないのは私も同じよ。あなたにはいつも振り回される。
I don't have time for this either, you know. It's like I'm always having to clean up after you. Not a compliment. Complaint? Not a complaint. It was her honest opinion.
なんだ要件は総十郎かよ。
Wait, you're here for Sojiro?
安心なさい。あなたにもあるから。
Don't worry, I'll deal with you next.
ん
Her eyes shimmered with murderous glee. It was slightly different from the more sullen gaze to which Tobimaru had grown accustomed. For whatever reason, Ako's mood seemed worse than usual.
しずきくん、
Does he not
あな
know?
た、走るのと泳ぐの、どっちが好き？
Huh, Suzuki, which do you prefer, running or swimming? Ako asked abruptly. Jotaro frowned a little bit before saying he was fine with either
ダメ
one.
よ。一つにして。
That won't do. Pick one.
泳ぐ方かな。けど、どうして？
Swimming, I guess. Why do you
あ
ask?
なたがまだどこの部にも所属してないから。
Because you still haven't joined a club. A succinct reply. One that left no room for Sojiro to object.
うちの校則読んだわよね。生徒はただ一人の例外もなく、部活動に参加しなくてはならない。
You read the school regulations. All students must participate in club activities.
正直どうかと思う校則だけど、決まりは決まりだから。
I'm not the biggest fan of it myself, but to be honest, a rule is a rule.
そんな無茶な。悪いけど、そこまでの暇はないんだ。
That's crazy. How could I possibly find time for that?
でしょうね。
How indeed. An equally terse response. She was typically to the point, but Tomura got the impression that she was expressly trying to keep her interactions with Sojiro short. They stared at each other in silence. Tobimaru stood breathlessly silent on the sidelines until Sojiro broke the impasse.
青崎は分かってると思ってた。
I thought you of all people would understand Aozaki.
あ、いや違う。
I mean, of course you do.
だから、そこが強いんだろうね。
That's what makes you strong. Jojo stood up from his seat. He walked past Aoko and into the hallway.
それ、明日からでいいんだろ？
Do you mind if I start tomorrow?
しずきくんがいいならね。
Whatever works for you, Suzuki. He did his best to force a smile before leaving the student council room. Now, watching the events play out, Tobirama found himself deeply impressed with Sojiro. You could tell from Ako's behavior that she was trying to get a rise out of Sojiro. Sojiro, on the other hand, didn't react. Heedless of what Aoko was doing, he simply went on his way. To Tobirama, it was hard to believe that Sojiro had not taken offense. From his point of view, Sojiro's poker face had been the performance of a lifetime. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, she kind of got his ass. So, I mean, like, what would be the retort? They could have some balls, huh, President? With the Aoko curious. Aoko stood completely still, staring at the wall.
Aozaki?
Hey. Aozaki. Aoko showed no response.
おい、会長。青崎。青子女子。おい、聞いてんのかよ、青崎青子。
Yo, President, Earth Aozaki. Come in, Lady Aoko. I'm talking to you, Aoko Aozaki.
さいはね、青を呼ぶな。
Yo. Hey, Bella John. What's up? How's it going? Enough with that. Ow. Already, God. Hope you're doing okay. Having a good day, Bella John. Or a good morning if you're not American West Coast, I guess. Fury echoed across the student council room. It was a beautiful sound that could be heard into the hallway and made Tobimaru's rant from earlier pale in comparison.
やかましい。うるせえのはてめえも同じだ。
Look who's talking, Miss Megaphone. Perhaps her shouting was still ringing in his ears, or he was just the type to answer the shout with a shout. She shot back reflexively.
そんなんだから男の一人もできねえんだよ、お前は。ほら、目覚めたか？
No wonder you can't get a boyfriend. Do I have your attention now?
別にあなたの声は聞こえてた。煩わしかったから無視してただけよ。黙らせるの面倒だし。
I could hear you before. I was just ignoring you because you were annoying me. And I thought it'd be easier than getting you to shut up.
てめえ
Damn,
な。
okay.
俺はカカなんかか、おい。
You got some nerd. My mosquito did.
コミュニケーションが成立しない点で言えばあっちのがまだ上品よね。
A mosquito would be better, would offer better company, so no, that's kind of crazy.
ほう、その心は？
I don't know if you two are good. I feel like maybe she took that punch more seriously because she's way more vicious with you, to be honest. And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
お互い何を言ってるかわからない。意味のない会話なら仰せみたいなものでしょ。
We never see eye to eye. Talking to you is like going on a date, both pointless activities. Okay. Based on that statement, Alka must have been under the assumption that dating was the act of two lovers whispering nonsense to each other.
問題は、お前にとって意味のある会話ってのがどの程度の価値かってことだが。
Your question is what the hell qualifies as company to you, or whatever. But yeah, the Bella just keep on plugging away. I normally don't stream on. Well, normally I don't stream on Tuesday, but I streamed on Tuesday, and normally I stream on Wednesday. I'm a little zonked, but I'm trying to get through the chapters before the movie drops on what was it, November? I think. The question is what qualifies.
いつになくきついじゃねえか、青崎。
You're awfully harsh today, Aozaki.
ちょっとね、今愛嬌を振りまける状況じゃないのよ。
Maybe a little. This isn't exactly the time to make nice.
不思議だ。この2年間で青崎の愛嬌なんてものは見たことがないんだが。
Funny you mentioned that. I haven't seen you try to be civil at all in the last 2 years.
飛び丸のいない時に振りまいてたの。
Oh man, I'm always civil, just not when you're in the same room.
そうかよ。やっぱりあの時のこと恨んでるんだろう、生徒会長さんはよ。
So that's how it is. You're still upset with me for what happened, aren't you? So there's one thing that Tobimaro could be talking about. Incident that occurred in the student council room this past summer.
え？ずいぶんと昔の話じゃないそれ。
Huh? Isn't that ancient history at this
そ
point?
んなどうでもいいことに容量を使っちゃもったいないわよ。ただでさえ脳の覚醒部分が少ないのに。
Don't you think you should stop wasting brain power on this? I mean, you got so few brain cells to work with that is. As the conversation wore on, Aka's murderous aura began to fade. Their sharp gaze gave way to a calmer demeanor, rarely seen from her. It was quite possible that nobody besides Tobimaro had ever seen this side of her at school before.
ご忠告どうも。俺だってあんなことは忘れてよ。
Thanks for the concern, Psyche. And for the record, it's not like I want to relive it either.
ただ、さっきその字がバカなこと言いやがるから、つい思い出しちまったんだよ。くそ、考えてみりゃ場所まで一緒じゃねえか。
It's just that Sonji was being an idiot earlier. Kind of reminded me of how it went down. Come to think of it, this is the room it happened in. Despite his ranting, his face betrayed a touch of nostalgia. Alka on her hand was skull.
ちょっと待って。
Hold
あ
on.
の話、彼にしたの？
You didn't tell him about what happened, did you?
ああ、俺がてめえに、なんで会長になんか立候補したのよ。あんたは副会長って顔でしょ、どう見ても。なんて挑発されて、生涯最高の月をしたところまでな。
Sure did. At least how you mocked my candidacy for president and told me my face had psychic written all over it. And the part where I took the bait and tried my damnedest to punch you for it. Uncle let out a sigh, as if relieved that Tomorrow had not told Sojiro the rest of the story. Even she wasn't sure why.
あれは確かにびっくりするぐらいいい月だった。思わず体が反応しちゃったものね。
I admit that was quite a punch though. It was enough to make me react on
ところ
reflex.
で、私そんなこと言ったっけ？
Did I really say that, by the way?
言った。しかも俺が保健室に運ばれたのをこれ幸いと強引に副会長にしやがった。
You sure did. And not only that, after I was taken to infirmary, you had the ball to tell me you did me a favor by forcing me to be your number 2. Damn. Since that day, Tomorrow has served as the vice president to the person who usurped the role from me.
いいけどな。俺に会長職は合わねえって分かったし、副会長の方が性に合ってやがる。会長なんてやってたら、危うく親父みたいな野郎になってただろうしよ。
It's fine though. The president chair doesn't suit me anyway. I feel much more at home as the vice president. Your job would have probably turned me into my dad. Probably.
プライド
Who's
高い
definitely
分
evil.
できることは全部やるからね、飛び丸は。
Pride's never allowed you to give anything else than your best.
会長職に先進するあまり、気がついたら優等生になってたあんたも見たかったけど。
Might be a little too comfortable on the student council though. Makes me wonder how you would have looked as an honor student.
やめてくれ、ゾッとしね。
If I ever go there, even thinking about it gives me the
猫
creeps.
かぶるのはお前だけで十分だ。
Having one wolf in sheep's clothing around here is bad enough. Tomar shooed Alco away like an annoying pest. It's a typical example of the crude verbal abuse they exchange on a daily basis. With a wittiness that only 2 longtime foes could manage.
で、
So,
なんでそんな話したのよ。
what did you tell him?
は？
Tell who what?
半年前のここの事件を。なんで彼に話したのよ。
Why'd you tell him what happened between you and me?
ああ、そっちか。いや、あいつがバカなこと口走ったからなんだが。
I was just trying to stop that nonsense he was spewing in. He stopped himself before he said anymore. He knew better than let slip the fact that Citro had a thing for Alka. Everyone knew guys didn't sell each other out like that, even if it was all, in truth, a misunderstanding.
それより、さっきのはないんじゃねえのか、青崎。
Anyway, what the hell was that before,
お前
Aozaki?、
宗十郎に恨みでもあんの？
That's some grudge you got against Sojiro?
7日以上前の恨みを引きずるほど、私はお姫様じゃないつもりだけど。
Not some princess who goes around holding grudges for something that happened over a week ago, you know. He wanted to retort that she was more like a queen than a princess. But he come to know her too well over the past 2 years to dig himself into a hole like that.
恨みはないね。それにしちゃ、恋に喧嘩売ってただろ。なんでだ
Okay, so why pick a fight with him? He talks, his cadence is so slow. It's interesting.
確かに調子の狂うやつだが、あいつほどいいやつはいねえだろうに。
I mean, he does throw you off when you talk to him, but there's not an evil bone in his body.
おい待て。なんだその足元のシロアリを見るかのような態度は。
Why are you looking at me like you just stepped in the turd?
別に。あんたまでそのセリフを言うのかって、心底から見避け果てただけよ。
No big reason. Hearing you say that, I was just thinking that I've never met such a despicable person in my life.
まあ、いっか。いいやつ、いい人、結構じゃない？喧嘩を売る相手としちゃ上等だわ。誰も憎んであげないなら、私ぐらいそうしないとね。
Well, whatever. So he's a good guy. That makes him the perfect person to pick a fight with. And what else is going to do that Josh falls to me, right? He said casually, having regained her composure.
しないとねって、お前。
Can't help yourself, huh? Tomar could not follow her reasoning at all. Tomar was used to Alco's erratic trains of thought, but hating Sojiro for no reason seemed needlessly cruel. His friend's naive and innocent face came to mind, and then he blurted out.
けど、宗十郎は青崎が好きなんだぜ。それでも嫌いなのか？
Why would you say that? Why? Sojiro's taking a shine to you. I was like, how can you hate him knowing that? Why would you say that? His vow of silence had lasted not even 2 minutes.
あ、いや、今のはな、青崎。
What I meant was, he tried to take it back, but it was too late. She had heard his words loud and clear. All he could hope for now was that she would take it well.
そりゃそうでしょう。好き嫌いは誰にもあるし。
Because I like what I like and I dislike what I don't
け
like.
どこればかりはね、彼が私と仲良くしたいって言っても、私は嫌いなんだから仕方ない。
Just because he wants to be friends doesn't mean I have to suddenly like him. True, true. Stone cold, but true. Tomorrow found himself filled with indignation at how detached Alka was being. They're both detached,
いや、
but
そん
in
な
like
お
separate
友達
ways.
感覚の話じゃなくてだな。
Don't you get it? This isn't just about friendship.
そういう好き嫌いじゃなくて、その字は本気でお前に惚れてるって言ったんだよ。
I didn't mean he only likes you either. Believe me when I say Sonoji really has something for you. He shouted, his face an embodiment of sincerity. Embodiment of sincerity. I gave him a blank stare. This was the face of someone who had lost their wallet hours earlier and only just now realized it now. The first instant of doubt that ushers in the reality of the situation. But an instant is all it was.
Ne?
So what? Real though. She answered coolly, as if she had no idea why it should matter to her at all.
出ときたか。鬼でもなけりゃ悪魔だな。お前って女は。
So
よかろう。
what?
聞こえなかったのならもう一度言ってやる。
I assume you didn't hear me and I'll say it again. Sojiro. Toriyama gave up any pretense of masculine solidarity and fired back hard.
いいわよそんなの。つまらないもの。
Don't bother, I couldn't care less. Damn. Wait. I kinda love her. She's ruthlessly cut him off. Thinking of the boys who still harbored unrequited love for Aoko, Torimaru tried to come up with a name befitting of the demoness in front of him.
なるほどね。それでさっきの話に結びつくわけだ。
Now I see. So that's why you told him about our little incident.
へえ。柄にもなく友達思いじゃない殿下。
Who could have thought His Highness could be so considerate to his friends?
ってことは、聞くも無残、語るも無情っていう私の噂話。教えてあげたんでしょ
But you also told him all the nasty rumors floating around about you too, huh? She laughed as a fiendish smile adorned her face. Tomoru repented to God, whoever and wherever he or she might be, for ever bringing up Aoko's love life.
飛び丸にしちゃ正しい判断ね。褒めてあげるから、どんな話をしたのか聞きたいな、私。
You did the right thing, Tobimaru. Now be a good little vice president. Tell me every single thing you told him. She was smiling, but Tobimaru wished he had at least tried to hide the bloodlust.
代表作とここでの事件を2つばかり。
Just two things, really. The story you're most infamous for, and what happened in this room. Aoko nodded with satisfaction as she listened to Tobimaru's hesitant answer.
こういう時、噂話って便利よね。うるさいのを追っ払ってくれるから。でも、そんな話を考えなしで広めたら大変だから、これからは気をつけてね。
Rumors like those can come in handy sometimes. You can use them to chase off annoying people. Just be careful about who you tell, okay? Had this been in writing, the chilling, sweet tone of her words could have been a sign of a heart. Whether angry or happy, Awazaki spoke in a disturbingly cute manner when she was in a heightened emotional state. Tomoraru took note of this new discovery, aware that it did nothing to get him out of the situation.
ああ、俺も命は惜しいからな。口はもう滑らねえよ。
Don't worry, I value my life, so I'll shut my mouth.
けどよ、青崎。本気で宗十郎が嫌いなのか？
Awazaki, do you really hate Sojiro that much? He knew that was a topic that he would be better off avoiding, but he tried asking anyway. The bonds between men at times shine more beautifully than a pearl. That's beautiful.
まあ、好きじゃないから嫌いっていうわけじゃないけど、私が彼のことを嫌う理由は自分でもわからない。
Well, I might not like him, but it doesn't mean I hate him. I'm not even sure why I feel the way I do.
だからダメなのね、きっと。
Which is probably the problem. Perhaps to placate Tobimaru, Aoko paused in contemplation before she answered, giving it a moment without immediately blurting out a response that not even he could complain.
そうか。まあ、そういうことならしょうがねえか。
Huh. I guess that makes sense.
何しろ綺麗さっぱり感情論だ。お互い理由もなく好きと嫌いじゃ手を貸す隙間もねえわけだし。
As much as emotional arguments can make sense, there's nothing I can do if neither of you understand why you feel the way you do. Thinking that would be the end of it, Tomara looked up toward the ceiling and silently apologized to Sojiro. However, his final sentence appeared to have piqued Ako's interest.
待って、今のどういう意味？
Wait, what do you mean by that? Her faux cheer had vanished. Failing to pick up on this, Tomara answered nonchalantly.
いや、あいつもさ、青崎に惚れた理由がわからないなんて言いやがってな。ああ、違ったか。理由なんてないなんて意味だったかな。
Oh, nothing. He said that Sojiro said he wasn't exactly sure why he liked you. Or more like, there was no particular reason for how he felt, I think. Tomara was still in disbelief that Sojiro had been charmed by Ako's appearance, so he purposely left that part out.
理由はないですって。
He said he likes me for no reason.
ああ、なんで俺がいくらお前の噂話をしても無駄だった。天津さえなんて言ってたかな。あ、そうそう。理由はどうあれ、青崎の心配は本物なんだとか、自分はそれで助かってるとか、俺なんかには言えないセリフだったのは確かだね。どうにも。
Yeah, I mean talking about all the rumors around you, and it had no effect on him whatsoever. What did he say again? Oh, right. He was going about how genuine concern was for him. And how it really helped him. It's almost too much for me to repeat out loud.
はっきりしてんのは他の野郎どもと違って噂を聞いても手を引く素振りなんざみじんもなかったってことだけ。
All I can say is that unlike the other boys, the rumors did not faze him in the least. Rumar finally noticed the shift in Ako's demeanor. She was scowling at the wall. She glared at it in silence like it was her worst enemy, and it continued for several minutes.
何それ？さっきといいそれといい、どこかで聞いたようなことばっかり。
What the hell? What the hell is that? Why can't I shake the feeling that I've heard all this somewhere before? Dang, she is vibrating. So great was her ire that the gnashing of her teeth was audible. The irritation seethed until it reached the point that Ako forgot Tomara was even in the room. Tomara looked heavenward for forgiveness, as seemed that he brought further calamity upon Sojiro's head. Yeah, you doomed him. I don't know how, but you doomed him.
なんであいつが気に食わないのか。
I kind of get it now. I think I know why I don't like him. Tomara looked away as if to indicate that he'd rather not know. Ako ignored him and began to grumble venomously.
あいつ、私が嫌いなやつと言動が似てるのよ。
The way he acts and talks reminds me of someone I
誰
despise.
かで構わずいい人扱いされるところとか、妙にふわふわしてるところとか、いちいち私の勘に触るところとか。
Like how everyone thinks he's an angel and how nothing seems to bother him. Maybe it's how good he is at getting on my nerves. Glancing idly up at the clock, Tomara thought that the last part just sounded like misplaced anger. And that was that. When all clock had come and gone.
わかった。もういい。この話をした俺が悪かった。
Fine, I get it. Sorry I said anything.
で、俺に用ってのはなんだよ。言っとくけど、もう授業始まってるぜ。
So did you need me for anything? Class had already started, you know.
え？授業ってなんで？いつ？
Huh? What do you mean by class? When did it?
いや、さっきその字が出てってから、青崎がギラーンって壁に睨んでた時にチャイムが鳴ったんだよ。いいのか、生徒会長。5次元目ばっくれて。
The bell rang right after Sonoji left, around the time you were busy being pissed off at the wall. Tell me, Miss President, are you allowed to miss this period?
いいわけないでしょ。なんで黙ってんのよあんたは。
Of course I'm not. Why didn't you say something? She looked like she was on the verge of tears as she shouted and pulled at his necktie. Tomorrow raised his hand in the mock surrender, just reserved only for the true victor.
蚊の方がエレガントなんて言いやがった仕返しだ。思い知るがいい。男の純情を踏みにじったり焼き殺したりするエリート悪魔め。
Consider this revenge for saying I was worse than a mosquito. Hopefully you learned your lesson. Oh, hellish demon who feasts upon the hearts of men.
相変わらず細かく根に持つ男。言動には言動で返しなさいよね、卑怯者。
You're so petty, you know that. You're supposed to repay insults with insults, you coward. She tied his necktie around his neck with a yank. The vice president smiled, a thuggish grin, as if her reaction made his victory that much sweeter.
お前の古典が破滅に向かっているのは周知の事実。そして A 組の5次元目は言うまでもない。藤代のばあさん。青崎のこと嫌ってるしな。
It's no secret you're heading to remedial classics. And I don't have to tell you who teaches class A during fifth period. Old Bat Fushiro is going to have your head. Fushiro had one of the longest tenures at the school, so it was only natural she would be in charge of teaching the class.
さあ、こんなところで俺のネクタイを引っ張る余裕があるのなら、急いで自分の教室に立ち返るがいい。
This is where you stop yanking my tie and haul ass to your class.
情けだ。別に止めはしねえよ。
When you try to stop me, am I not merciful?
くそ、あんたなんかにはめられるなんて。このまま死んでしまえ。
Damn it all. I can't believe you of all people pulled one over on me. Just die already. She choked him even harder with his necktie. As Alka put words into action and mercilessly strangled Tobimaru, he saw his life flash before his eyes.
いや、待て待て、本当に死んじまうだろうが。今ならまだ間に合う。10分過ぎたら遅刻から欠席扱いだぞ。
Wait, stop. I'm gonna die. It isn't too late. You want them to mark you absent? Alka glanced at the clock. It was still only 7 minutes past 1. Her route from the student council room on the second floor to class A on the first floor. If she ran, she could make it.
命拾ったわね、飛丸。
Unless you live, Tobimaru, this time. Alka clicked her tongue disappointed. What disturbed Tobimaru was that it didn't sound like an empty threat.
あと放課後、ここにいて。頼みたいことがあるのは本当なんだから。
Be here after school. I actually do have something I need you to do. She was halfway out the room before she even finished her sentence. Finally, all alone, Tomomaru closed the door, locked it, and slumped into a chair.
たく。ああしてる分には楽しいやつなんだけどよ。青崎は。
Never a dull moment of Aozaki around, that's for sure. He leaned back in the creaky folding chair and let out a sigh. The world outside was beautiful. Sunlight waned early in the winter. Before long, daylight would fade, and the unheated student council room would grow colder and colder. All of the good equipment, like the heater, had ended up in the main office, so he had no choice but to settle in for a chilly afternoon.
こんな天気が続けばいいんだがね。天気予報じゃ、また雲行き怪しいって話だが。
If only this weather would last. The shame, the forecast predicted more clouds. After a somewhat suggestive monologue, Tomomaru's mind drifted. He idly wondered to himself whether Sojiro was an overcast day or a clear sky day sort of guy, but no answers came. Oh, I thought that would be the end of the chapter. School day over, Sojiro headed straight to his job. While the school had approved his job at the Chinese restaurant and the fish market in the Izaki shopping district, there was no other work he hadn't mentioned. There was other work he hadn't mentioned. And it was not because he knew that it would clean at him working too many, but rather because of the prolific nature of one job he picked. And listened. Today, his workplace was the pachinko parlor in front of Yashirogi Station. Yeah, you're not supposed to be there. Pedro changed out of the school uniform and back into a black faux tuxedo uniform. then began cleaning the storefront. Shirogi was the jewel of Misaki City, a busy place with vast assortment of commercial centers and shopping arcades. Whether there were people en masse, there were products made en masse. A romantic might describe it as a place of joy. A realist would note a free enterprise, and a cynic would point at all the garbage. Local authorities had attempted to beautify Yashiro, but there was one basic tenet of society that could not overcome. The establishment was the embodiment of that rule. Businesses such as this attracted the dregs of society, and as such, the front of the parlor had to be cleaned several times a day. Sojiro stood outside in the winter cold, sweeping used-up cigarette butts, cleaning up discarded flyers, and tossing empty cans into the trash. Something about it must remind him of mountain life, as he cheerfully finished the job with ease. After making sure the storefront was acceptably clean, he returned to the inside of the parlor, where it was nice and warm. Blinding lights and deafening sounds, and the oppressive odor of tobacco assaulted him as he passed through the parlor on his way to the office.
店長、外回りの掃除終わりました。
Boss, I finished cleaning outside.
はい、ご苦労様。それでいいかな。2階の40番台のお客さんの様子見てきてくれない？
Good job. I got something else for you. Would you go check on the customer on machine 40 on the second
ど
floor?
うも懐に飲んでそうなんだよね。あ
やば
のお姉さん。
I have a hunch he might be cheating. His boss was a good-natured man who used to work a desk job. The reason he employed someone like Sojiro, even though he was clearly a student, was not because he admired him for working his way through school, it's because of how all other employees were scary and intimidating. He wanted at least one employee who was not.
いいんですか？トイレの掃除まだですけど。
Are you sure? I still haven't cleaned the
いい
toilet.
のいいの。なんかね、カメラの死角にいるんでいまいち確証取れないの。
It's fine, it's fine. She's in the security camera's blind spot, so we have no way of confirming whether she's up to no good.
そうちゃん、今のところ的中率 100% でしょ。様子見てきてくれないかな。
I want you to go because you got a sixth sense about these things. Go check on them, will you? Hearing that, Sojiro put away his cleaning equipment and headed upstairs. It was a typical large-scale pachinko parlor with 2 floors. It prided itself on being the local establishment that was satisfied with taking the locals' money little by little without resorting to more exploitative means. But regardless of the parlor's intentions, customers were not so scrupulous. Among them were casual players, professional gamblers, and cheaters looking to profit by exploiting whatever loopholes they could find. Of particular preference was a device developed in the mid-80s that could disrupt the machine's circuitry on the outside and make it much easier to get what was called a 777 jackpot. As much as the parlor wanted to deny these cheaters entry, it needed to present hard evidence for cheating, or risk losing customers. Particularly in the service industry, innocent until proven guilty was not a rule taken lightly. As a result, they could only punish customers they caught in the act. Such cheaters were known as gotoshi, a slice of society which Sojiro knew nothing about. What he did not know was that they were inconveniencing his employer and violating their rules. He went upstairs. The radio and game machine sounds on the second floor were quieter than the cacophony downstairs. There were 100 game machines on the ground floor and over 80 on the second. While there were some empty seats here and there, it was a solid evening turnout. The machine mentioned by his boss was in the center aisle. Sojiro nonchalantly leaned back against the wall and watched the customer hit the jackpot over and over again. She's in a stylish dress too, what the heck? Second he saw her, his gut told me that she was not cheating. So not sure what made someone a master swindler, but if it meant that they were special, this woman certainly fit that description. It was almost as if he could feel the luck emanating from her. As the customers looked on, she suddenly turned the handle again and again. She appeared older than Sojiro. She wore a green, form-fitting, one-piece dress. Very form-fitting. A pair of stockings covered her legs. Her slender legs were gracefully crossed. Her elegant suited a painting better than a casino. Her dark reddish hair, was cut short in a bob, perfectly framing her stylish spectacles and crimson lips. Red hair. Truth be told, something was off about this picturesque beauty, ringing the jackpot over and over again. 4 boxes worth of pachinko balls sat at her feet. Her winning streak showed no signs of abating. She looked forward as her slender porcelain fingers lifted a long cigarette to her lips. Yeah, who else has kinda reddish hair? It's like I've seen her somewhere. Just as the thought crossed his mind, her gaze torn towards the wall and Sojiro. What? Suddenly a chill ran down his spine. He reflexively covered his mouth to keep from shrieking. It's her, the woman from yesterday. Oh, they're from the park? Okay, up here, instant Sojiro took off running. He headed straight downstairs, desperate to not be on the same floor as her. He had to run straight out the door, but for his obligations to his job. Boss, I'm leaving early, and the person upstairs is fine. He tried to keep his composure as he spoke, jamming his school uniform into a paper bag as he ran out the parlor. Hollywood brought the shadow of night over Yashiragi as he ran through the shopping arcade toward the station. He shot up the long staircase like an arrow, quickly pulled his train pass from his wallet, and passed through the ticket gate. The ticket gate was crowded with people standing around walking and talking. The attendant by the automatic ticket machine had an unpleasant look on his face. There was a now familiar, comforting hustle and bustle around him. Just another day in the city. Nothing like what he was the night before. He could finally breathe again. A momentary rush of relief brought him to an abrupt stop. He nervously turned around. There's no way a dangerous individual could be behind him. Wait, what would I even? He couldn't think of a good reason for why he fled so desperately. As far as he could remember, he hadn't even seen the threat's face long enough to form an opinion about her. Sojiro gave himself a good slap on the cheek to pull himself together and quickly made his way down the platform. Unfortunately, the next train was 10 minutes away, and panicking would do him no favors, so he quietly found an empty seat and sat down. He took another deep breath. He was surrounded by people waiting for the train, just like he was, and no sign of anyone pursuing him. His head finally cleared up, and he assured himself that he was overthinking things, though he was surprised at how heavy his shoulders felt. I'm tired. I'm sure of it. I know Mullen by best. He sighed at his greater than expected fatigue. He had certainly struggled since coming from the mountains, but in retrospect it could have been worse. Physically he was probably holding up fine. He was much less confident in his mental state. The city and the mountains could not have been more different. He had been slow to recognize the differences and adapt. Acclimation was simple enough. Humans were nothing if not adaptable. Even without any effort, one would learn to adjust over time. Recognizing the changes had been the hard part. Actually, it's all been difficult. Sojiro grumbled, a complaint he'd never uttered before. To be honest, he was still afraid to wander around town. There were so many things people took for granted that Sojiro had yet to grasp. It was little wonder that he had this never-ending chain of surprises would wear him out. Oh. It isn't my body that's tired. That'll explain the hallucination. He muttered to himself and then shook his head. That which exists, such the ways of all things. Tobimaro had called it a hallucination, but Sojiro knew what he saw was real. The city was a magical kingdom compared to the mountains. The city was a magical kingdom compared to the mountains. I don't know why I said that twice. If there were real musicians secretly living here, There should have been no surprises at all. The thought alone made his legs tremble. It took him a moment longer to realize that they were quivering out of fear. He had feared the unnatural ever since he encountered a wild bear on a mountain path as a child. Is that why you're permanently bandaged?
いや、あれはこんなもんじゃなかったっけ。
But this is nothing like that.
なりふり構わず泣き叫んだもんな。
I
あの
cried
時は。
and screamed my head off back then. Joshua smiled a little as he recalled his traumatic childhood memory. Anyone would have fainted at such an appearance of a growling beast, toward over 6 feet tall. The monster in the movie that Sojo saw no 2 days ago was the equivalent of a cuddly stuffed animal compared to the wild mountain creatures. He was reminded that he faced far worse before, and his ordeal now was something he could endure.
そうだよな。今の問題はちらっと聞こえた最後のセリフか。
That's right. The problem is,
捕まえて始末する
problem
って
now
いうのは
is what I heard
どうなん
someone
だ。
say at the end. What's catch and eliminate supposed to mean? At face value, the meaning was obvious. The implications were simply too frightening to contemplate seriously. Perhaps he had misheard the words, or perhaps the speaker had
都会
misspoken.
のルール。誰かがきっと罰しに来る。
The law of the city means someone would deal out punishment eventually. Even as he said it, the idea didn't feel quite right. It was hard to imagine that it applied to him. Sergio breathed in and closed his eyes. His vision dimmed, putting the illuminated cityscape out of sight and out of mind. But now he resolved to put last night's events behind him. He opened his eyes, his breathing had calmed.
それでさ、
I wonder.
青崎を殴りつけようとして結局どうなったんだ。飛び
Bumped
乗
to
る。
Tomori when he tried to hit Ozaki. Which suddenly popped in Sergio's head. He decided he would ask next time and stood up from the chair. A long streak of light blazed by, announcing the arrival of the next train. Oh, she really didn't chase him. And we made it to chapter 3, Nights, which I hear is short. So we're going to try to do that, but let me quickly make sure there's no extras. What is this? No, it's a chapter 2, it's not 1.2. Okay, good. What is CG mode? There's some stuff missing. Interesting. Just like pure screenshots. It's interesting. Okay. Then let's continue on. It should be a little quicker, and then we should be back on pace. Let me tell you, how did the events of yesterday transpired? On moonless nights, you must never look back. Was it a lesson or was it a warning? It was so very long ago, at the time it could not have imagined what my very being would become. One night, it came without warning. I was filled with an anxiety so heightened that it made me want to burst into tears, so I fled to my grandfather's workshop. Unlike the grandfather I knew, he smiled and kindly placed his hand upon my head. Yes, the Red Death follows your every step. Rather than consoling me, he sent me home with only those haunting words. That night, I was certain I sensed a shadow lurking behind me. Something or someone watching me from afar. Then little by little, year by year, it drew closer. Eventually, the presence that once felt like a spot on the horizon grew so close that I could feel its breath down the base of my neck. Of course, it was all in my mind. When I turned around, nobody was there. But that night marked the beginning. In hindsight, I later understood that the indescribable anxiety I felt was the dread of certain death.
Hey dido dido, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon, the little dog laughed.
How much time has passed since that night? It lingered deep in the recesses of my mind, where childhood memories are kept. A faded, short story-esque memory, storybook-esque memory. One, on darkest nights, I still heard the faint echo of my grandfather's words. But no matter how strong the wind may howl, or how entrancing the song of the girl next to me, I could never bury his ominous words completely.
ご到着ね。
It's here. The girl beside me said. Alice's inflectionless voice spoke volumes of her role as the bystander. That night, there was only me and her. It was the night I would mark as the birth of who I am today. For what should have been quite the memorable night, it sure wasn't a promising start. Dense clouds blocked the starlight above like a black umbrella. Strong wind tore through the sky, carrying the heavy clouds with it. The hands on the clock in the middle park pointed skyward, as if reaching for the moon. Unfortunately for them, tonight there was no moon to point at. The winter air grew fiercer as the night wore on. Inhaling felt as though it would freeze me for my the air chilled me to the bone, ready to pass up my spine directly to my brain. To prevent my mind from being paralyzed, to prevent my fingertips from becoming stone, I sparked a fire using my internal rhythm and emotion.
触覚を譲るわ。幸運ね。あの位置なら刻んでおいたウィスプが灯る。
Transferring tactical feedback to you. Good luck. Stand over there, and the engraved will-o'-wisp will at night. I responded to Alice with a nod. And then for just a moment I saw the ground. My legs quivered ever so faintly. I told myself they were shaking from a cold, but I wasn't so sure. In reality, I may not have been numbered by the cold, but by fear. I breathe a sigh of relief. My humanity must still be intact. My emotions are present. Where I can sing into a pool of my own sentimentality, the sensations from the bounded field flowed from Alice to me. A transparent wall covered the entire park, an unrecognizable carpet rooted under the earth. Askanji's chants of the Mother Goose fairy tale permeated the night. Sensations became one with my body. I felt goosebumps on my quivering right arm. Someone had trespassed. The goosebumps crept up my right arm like ants. Slowly but surely made it inroads for my heart. Holding back desire to drive them out, I waited for them to reach a certain definitive position. A moonless night. The park's quaint street lights were not enough to lift the curtains. The ants came to a stop. Far, far from my right arm. They had reached my very heart. Even without the aid of my sense of sight, I could sense the intruder lurking in the darkness. To starboard, in the bushes about 30 steps back, on all fours, it was beckoning with its right hand.
Soko!
There. The enemy's movements and the perception of it were in lockstep. I spun around. The enemy's arm stretched out like a sphere. The lethal weapon aimed at my back, but my head brushed my hair at breakneck speed. The omniscient awareness granted by Alice's word, I had managed to avoid it by the skin of my teeth. My hair banged through the air in the violence of the attack. The strike grazed my cheek and I felt a small, sharp pain. I felt like the kiss of death. I switched the flow of my body's blood to a different cycle. Blood running through my veins at a few feet per second transmutated into an imaginary element. became a single circuit, with my heart transformed into a completely different engine. Within me stirred an unknowable motion of immeasurable heat. Something mystic, yet untapped by humankind, that made me who I am. It was the fire of life behind all miracles and fables. What we mages call magical energy.
セット
Connecting. Set. I turned around, the enemy in my sights, and held up one hand. My arm was the agent of my will. My lack of experience meant my magecraft would only be possible with the use of vocalization and gestures. Magical formulae were engraved all over the park. All I had to do was ignite them. I needed to direct the flow of magical energy within my body into each formula. Typically, a mage acts as a conduit. Whether wired or wireless, the mage simply pours magical energy into the formula. Releasing this energy in the form of a projectile, stream, or any number of other methods would usually suffice, but in my case, it was the feeling of my limbs whipping out.
燃えろ
Burn. I fought speed with speed. The enemy's R extended 10 feet forward and became engulfed in flame. It was nighttime at the park, a scene reminiscent of a campfire, but one in which the center of the flame contained a humanoid figure wriggling like a shadow puppet. The flames subsided, but as unnaturally as it had ignited. Just as naturally. No crackling, no burning smell.
結界返すわ死体を確認するから
You can have the bounded field back. I'll check the remains. After telling this to Alice, I headed towards the motionless figure. I killed it. I killed it. I killed it. Regardless of who my opponent was, I took someone's life. My throat parched. I swallowed the truth that without a sense of reality, I would have been helpless. So hard and bitter, impossible to swallow. But I tried to anyway. It was unnervingly calm. My heart pounded and my breath felt heavy. My mind was nonetheless calm. By the time I realized the charred remains were already in front of me. Bracing for a counterattack, I carefully examined the corpse. Everything seemed fine. The body lying slumped on the ground was nothing but ash.
Huh?
But something wasn't right. To begin with, its remains didn't smell organic. Nothing willing to believe my hunch, I took a closer look at the corpse's face. All that greeted me was the featureless white face of a mannequin. Damn it, they got us again. Screaming, I kicked the mannequin. The corpse crumbled to ash and disappeared into the wind. This was no corpse. This was just a puppet. And for all our effort to lure the master out, we had once again been tricked by a familiar. My debut, my first test out in the open, would be postponed for another day.
いつになったら一人前にって
She kinda got that fit on, though. Will I ever pass this test? What? At that moment, I suddenly noticed something familiar in the corner of my eye. Something seemed strange about the slide on the other end of the park. It appeared as though its shadows were larger than it should be. Was I still drunk on the high of battle? It took me a second to realize what it was.
誰
Who's there? Calling out was a mistake. Startled by my voice, the figure wearing a familiar high school uniform took a step back and then broke into a sprint, like someone running for their life. Or should I say, he was doing exactly that.
追いかけて見られた
After him, we've been spotted. In a rush, I shouted at my partner. She hadn't even noticed the third party's presence in the first place. Though it wasn't as if I could move by myself. Embarrassingly, the fight had taken more out of me than I had liked.
ダメ逃げられる
No, he'll get away.
捕まえて始末しないと
We need to catch and eliminate him. There's no time for niceties. For For us, being seen here was a matter of life and death. Wait, get back here, you. Shaking off the numbness of my leg, I made for the park's exit. I had to admire his escape. The witness party to the entire night's proceedings had disappeared into the darkness of the residential district without a trace. Why the hell did I sense him in the field? Is he undetectable? Complaining to myself when it bring back the figure in uniform. Bitter at my own incompetence, I gave up the chase. Though temporary, the park had become Alice's woods. For anyone with a few feet of the park, other park goers' identifiable features and voices became murky, like the stuff of fairy tales. Tonight's proceedings may have had a witness, but if our identities were still hidden, then this was still a chance. It looked like a male from behind. I returned to the park. The uniform was, without a doubt, from my high school. That was a clue enough. If you let schoolwear in mind, I had plenty of methods to flush it out. It's just one thing after another. I miss my grumbling to set my party straight. Before some strange rumors spread, I need to seal the witness's mouth shut. That was the highest priority, quickly and without mercy. Looking up, I saw Alice's previously distinct features. Though she was in as much trouble as I was, her existence as a mage was also exposed. She had but one thing to say. This means trouble. Her statue-like figure, staring into the darkness, seemed more expressionless than calm. I was pissed off. Her inscrutable voice resembled the moonless night so much it made me angry. That wasn't even 40 minutes. That was like 5 minutes. My. Now, I don't remember. Forgive me. How long was chapter? I know chapter 5 is the extremely long one. If I can find the chapter breakdown, which might be a little difficult because I don't remember where they were. Forgot, did these guys do it by chapter? I don't remember. I think they did. They have 13 blocks. I think there's 13-ish chapters. It's better combined to the smaller ones. Put up 8. I don't know. They didn't do it by chapters. Actually, hold on while I... Okay, looks like 4 is about an hour and a half long. Looks like it's as long as chapter 2 was, which is kind of long. Then yeah, chapter 5 is 8 hours long. Chapter 7, EX is also very short. Yeah, so I was like, maybe, definitely not this stream. We'll be pushing 4 hours into the early day, and I did start extremely late. I think I will call this here. Unless there's an EX. Nope. Okay. Okay, like I said, tomorrow / today, I will be checking out Hell's Maidens by the Astral Shift. Probably playing that most of the day. Maybe play some other RPG or other roguelites if I feel so inclined. I think I will. I'm trying to figure out what a good day is. Usually I would want to put this on Fujo Fridays, but I feel like maybe I should like stick with a less foot trafficy day. I'll fix considered. I think mainly bots come by the channel around this time to check out what I've been up to, you know. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No, it says usually. People are checking out Thursday, Friday. So yeah, maybe I will move this over to Thursday, Friday in the early morning. Either early morning or late night. Maybe as a cool down at the night. So maybe you'll see me continue this on Friday. No. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. If you stop by, check out the VOD from YouTube or Twitch. I'm Lurkergene on both. Appreciate you stopping by. I know this is not really like the most exciting stream, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Never got into this novel. I feel like my speaking comprehension, if that makes sense, my oratory skills aren't as bad as I initially thought. They're not fantastic, but they're not nearly as bad as I initially thought. So I feel like this is going a little bit smoother. Today was a little rougher, but you know, what do you do? But yeah, we are now. Let me double check. Oh, is there only 8 chapters? And then was it 5 extras? Six. Spring. 10. No, there's 12. No, there's 13. Maybe we'll be rushing past at some point. We'll hit. I don't know. Anyways, we're 4 chapters in. Chapter 5 is the big hump. So I'll say like halfway through chapter 5, we'll probably be like halfway done with the entire series. We don't quite get another big hit like that. So after we finish chapter 5, we'll probably be mostly done, unless we're trying to go for like a different ending. Ideally, I like to get the good ending on the first try, but you know, I'm 99% blind. Anyways, peace, love. I'll catch you all later. Bye.